Oh, hello. I'm Diana Konecki, chairperson of the Konecki Group, which includes DK Strategic Planning, Konecki Art, and Konecki Associates. I'd like to talk about a topic that helps many things go forward. The most important thing is happiness. If someone is unhappy, or it can make things harder to do. For example, one thing my dad used to have in his office was he had a picture of two puppies. And it says a lot depends upon a change of attitude. However, when you looked at the picture of the two puppies, it's actually the same puppy. One when it was happy, the other one was sad. It looked like two different people. In anything you do, it is important to do something you like. Do something you're passionate about, and do something that you give joy and you get joy from. In many things, people try to do things that they aren't happy about, or projects that they're not, try to make ends meet, try to do some other things. Um, well, what happens, that's not following your bliss, and what happens, it shows in burnout and other things. Um, to give an example about the lack of happiness, I'd like to address the current issue that occurred at Fort Hood. This is the second time in many years um, that an event like this has occurred at Fort Hood, where many people were killed, and some feel that basically the situation could have been preventable. Part of the reason why the situation could have been preventable is because for some reason someone basically became highly stressed and they felt that they had to take a violent act to do something. There's no reason why that has to occur, especially with the current healthcare systems that exist worldwide. And even talking with friends who have served in the military in different conflicts, as the Vietnam, Gulf of Tonkin resolution, Iraq, Afghanistan, many of them agree that basically the issue of mental health and helping people who are stateside needs to be improved. For example, different types of medical services under the VA are still not covered as well as other things that could help greatly. For example, some prevention, basically, if someone could talk with someone about the stress, and also if there was change management personnel available where the stress of the environment organization could be reduced or mitigated due to better operational procedures. What I've always tried to do in my consulting practice is I always try to look at the organizational behavior, how to make things better, how to make it so people are happy, how to eliminate things that frustrate people. And sometimes some of that basically involves not always coming in dressing corporate, wearing a suit, or whether woman or man. Sometimes just coming in casual. Sometimes talking in blue jeans, but not having it business casual where it's basically quote business casual, but real blue jeans where basically it's just come as you are, let's chat. And no judgments. Just speak openly. Anything you say here stays here, and the person basically keeps confidentiality, and which is what I always try. Which I do. That goes a long way to stopping a lot of the tense organizational structures that cause people to become very upset and cause different actions. This one thing at Fort Hood. At the first time it happened, I was starting graduate school for my doctoral degree, and I commented on it. I had one person who said that it's too early to comment, but based upon my experience in my studies, I saw a lot of things that could have been done to mitigate it, and even with the event that happened today. I mean, it's nice people stand in honor for everyone who has been killed. However, the problem is the cycle is going to keep repeating itself unless certain small things are done that basically may seem unpopular with something. For example, certain things are not a stigma. have confidentiality. Have it where people can come in and talk with someone, with the counselor. Have them meet somewhere off the work site, off the base. Confidentiality, and also change some of the protocol that causes extra stress. Watch bullying managers. Watch bullying executives. Some people always say, "Well, bullying makes people tougher." No, it actually makes people harder, and it also it takes away their creativity and takes away their hope. The one thing I saw today on the internet regarding a news flash was that Minnesota passed anti-bullying act for schools. I'm very happy to see this. I've talked with one person at the City Council in Kenosha who first told me about this, Lindsay, and I'm glad to see that they follow through. Hopefully Wisconsin and other Midwestern states will follow through as well. What happens? Bullying does not make people tougher. It actually diminishes the spirit, takes away the hope, and takes away the creativity, which is why a lot of places have economic stagnation. That basically, why haven't they recovered from the meltdown? Why is basically more people are on food stamps? Why are more people not working? A big factor of that is bullying. Some of them don't wish to go back in the workplace if it's going to mean bullying. Others will be glad to work at different positions where there is bullying. The point is, the environment and people are very important. And especially in the military, the toughness doesn't come from someone ganging up on a lone person, or basically one group picking out someone from the onion layer to pick on. Strength comes mentally, physically, and emotionally. It is part of the person. It builds naturally. And strength builds from a good environment, not from a negative environment. Someone from a good environment is actually stronger mentally, physically, and emotionally than someone from a tougher environment. Someone may say, well, they are tough because they're from a ghetto. Well, no, they're not really that tough. They're really cowards, because basically, when it comes to fighting a fair fight and fighting with rules, they'll lose every time. Or even with their own rules, where they're basically their own referees, they're ghetto bullies, they still lose, because basically the one thing about bullying is bullying does not build the concept of trust. In anything you do, trust is important. For example, if you're working on a team, sometimes there comes up something where someone will say, well, I'd like you to do this, and someone will say, okay, I'll do this. They may not understand the reason why at the time, but they'll do it because they know you. Another time, someone may say that something may come up where someone's planning to come and meet you at a certain time, and they haven't come till late. That doesn't mean that basically that they don't think of you as an important person or something else. What may mean is something may come up. This is a test of a relationship and a team. When something occurs, does one thing knock the team or relationship apart like a house of cards? You pull one card out and the whole thing falls? Or basically, is there trust where, well, maybe something happened? Maybe give the person the benefit of the doubt. Don't act until you know the facts. And it is important in all this to know what the facts are. And with the Fort Hood situation, the situation is still ongoing, because what happens, even though there might have been an investigation, they still haven't talked about the real facts. And the thing is, the real facts is that many people are under stress. And by making stress a stigma in the military or in public sector, private sector, it compounds it. The best thing to do is basically take away the stigma, allow people to talk with counselors, talk with professionals, not clergy, professionals. Because sometimes someone who's not licensed will basically espouse their own point of view. And the other thing is, what happens is also provided as part of a package. And watch bowling managers and bowling executives. I mean, some people may think that's fun to watch on TV, to see someone being bullied into office and made to run alone and do all sorts of funny fraternity or sorority gigs or something in the workplace. No, the workplace is a closed environment. People are there to work, and people have to work to support themselves, their families, their loved ones, and build a future. So, I mean, in a closed environment, fraternity, sorority gigs, forcing one's religious beliefs on someone or other things, no, that's not acceptable. Because basically the person, if they don't like what's being said, then they have to leave their job, and they may face periods of long unemployment, or may face periods of having to go on food stamps or other things. And that's a waste of the person's natural ability, waste of their ability to help the society that they live in, as well as to help the loved ones. So the thing is, happiness is a better solution than bullying. And I'm trying to speak before the City Council of Kenosha. One thing I'm going to do is, this time I'm going to use a little bit of humor. A few years ago, I wrote a poem called let's see, should I wear my Gucci scarf to the Madison Club? And the poem is based upon a true event. At the time, my grandparents were original founders of the Madison Club, as well as my mother, who had a membership, and my aunt, who had her membership through my uncle, who was my mother's brother. But the thing is, what happens, this was in the mid-'80s, and what happened, we were at the square going to my cousin's reception, and I was looking to wear something basically, just to celebrate that my cousin was getting married, and also to help, dress up a little bit. So I went on square, and they hit a Gucci store, and I picked up a Gucci scarf. Well, I went to the Madison Club, and my aunt, being my aunt, had everything planned right down to the minute. 2:31 you do this, 2:45 we do this. And what happened was, although my cousins loved my aunt greatly, sometimes the strict, methodical thing was way too much. So when I came into the Madison Club, some members of the Madison Club smiled. Most of them did. They're very happy. My aunt was basically just in shock, because basically I wasn't dressing West Madison, very dowdy, and my mother was very happy, because she was smiling. She's glad that I took a chance to show a different perspective, basically visually, but visually enough, basically it was good enough for the Madison Club, but yet stylish enough too. And later, some of my cousins came up and thanked me for what I did, because basically they realized that they couldn't do that. They would have at least faced certain things, but they were glad I did. But the point is, you should do what you feel is comfortable. Don't always get stuck in a strict box or chasm. Like a river meanders, and that's how creativity and happiness works. What happens, you don't always go from here to here, but what happens by meandering, you actually get there faster. And you learn more, you meet additional people, and you build good friendships. So let's work towards doing a happy solution and reducing the bullying solution. I'd like to thank you for listening, and please feel free to contact me via Twitter, &Diana1A, or on Facebook, Diana, DIANA, Kanecki, KANECKI. Thank you again.